What's going on, guys? Hey, remember back in 2018 and 2019 when the METOO movement did a whole bunch of good for women and had a lot of credibility? Yeah, well, that's all gone now, thanks to a bunch of fake feminists and the one and only Alyssa Milano. Let's get into it today on The Driven Progressive. Alrighty guys, before we jump into it, if you like the video, be sure to hit the like button and maybe think about subscribing if you like the content. I'm a brand new channel, so any likes, any comments I get, really appreciated. Thanks a lot. Alright, let's jump into it. So in case you missed it, for about the last 2 weeks now, Joe Biden has had an at least somewhat credible allegation of sexual assault levied against him by a former staffer named Tara Reade. And the famous faces of the Me Too movement, you know, the blue checks on Twitter and people like Alyssa Milano, have been extremely silent about this allegation and have really said nothing. But even though it's at least as credible as the allegations against human beer keg Brett Kavanaugh. But their silence is not what I want to talk about today. What I actually want to talk about is the response one of them finally gave. And it's one of the most famous faces in the Me Too movement, actress Alyssa Milano. She finally came out with a statement regarding the whole situation on a radio show hosted by Andy Cohen. And just to be crystal clear, I think the Me Too movement is very, very important. It's done a ton of good for women all across the country. But that's why it has to be above the fray. It can't just be another tool used by the establishment left. It can't be partisan. We have to go after guys with R's next to their name just as much as we go after guys with D's next to their name. It has to be a level playing field. Otherwise, it loses all credibility. And that's why Alyssa's statement on the matter is so very important. I'm going to play the clip. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments section. Here it is. Check it out.
And I endorsed Joe Biden.
Okay, good.
And there have been accusations against Joe about a sexual assault.
Right, and people were saying, "How can you do that?" Because you were.
I have not publicly said anything about this. If you remember, it kind of took me a long time to publicly say anything about Harvey as well, because I believe that even though we should believe women, and that is an important thing, and what that statement really means is, like, you know, for so long the go-to has been not to believe them. So really we have to sort of societally change that mindset to believing women, but that does not mean at the expense of not giving men their due process and investigating situations.
I like that.
And giving, it's got to be fair in both directions.
Okay.
So, I've been very vocal about Biden and my support for him. I've known him for a long time, and I did do my due diligence because part of it was that, and the article that sort of stood out to me was that Time's Up decided not to take the case. And so,
that was important to you. That meant, well, maybe there's more to this story here.
Right. I did my work, and I spoke to Time's Up, and I just don't feel comfortable throwing away a decent man that I've known for 15 years.
Yep.
In this time of complete chaos without there being a thorough investigation.
Yep.
I'm sure that mainstream media would be jumping all over this as well if we
weren't in a pandemic. If there was more credible, if there was evidence
if they found more evidence or through their investigation. So I'm just kind of staying quiet about it. And because I'm staying quiet about it,
you were getting dragged on Twitter by Bernie Bros.
Right. They're calling me hypocritical for and saying that I'm a fake feminist and all of this stuff. And I'm still trying desperately to stand back and be sort of objective about this, because I don't want this to, I sent the Me Too tweet over 2 years ago. I never thought that it would be something that was going to destroy innocent men, right? Like, we don't want that to happen either. So we have to find this balance in the Believe Women movement, and also giving men their due process, and realizing that we're destroying lives if we publicly don't go through the right steps in order to find out if an accusation is credible or not.
What the hell did I just listen to? Like, are you serious? Like, okay, first of all, before we dive into what she had to say, like, could Andy Cohen do any worse of a job trying to act like this wasn't pre-planned and they didn't go over the exact talking point by talking point and as to what they wanted to say? Like, what a tool that guy is. And when she brought up, we should have due process for everyone. Oh, I like that. Oh, due process for I like that idea. Due process for everyone, you say. Like, what a tool. And by far, I'm sure you guys caught it, by far the most egregious thing she had to say was, well, I'm sure if there was any, validity to this, the mainstream media would pick it up. As if whether the mainstream media picks it up or not should be the only reason we believe it. So what you're saying is, in nothing, the mainstream media takes no sides. It's not partisan at all. It doesn't favor establishment Republicans and especially establishment Democrats, especially channels like CNN and MSNBC. Yeah, they don't favor Joe Biden. They've just been fawning over him the last 2 months while he can't freaking read from a teleprompter. But yeah, I'm sure they're not going to be biased at all. When Bernie maybe, possibly, sorta, kinda, maybe said that a woman couldn't be president, even though the other women that were running, well, at least two of them, Marianne Williamson and Tulsi Gabbard, said that he didn't say anything like that to him. When he maybe told Elizabeth Warren that a woman couldn't be president, it was national news for 2 weeks, it feels like. At least a week. But when Joe Biden gets accused of sexually assaulting a girl that worked for him, nothing. I mean, it's just insane. And then, on top of that, she totally downplays her involvement in the Me Too movement with the, I sent that tweet over 2 years ago, I didn't mean when I sent it for us to be destroying men's lives. Like, that's the same dumb argument people use with Kavanaugh. You're destroying his life. No, the argument against Kavanaugh, the argument you made, we're not trying to rob anybody of due process. We're not trying to destroy anybody's life. We're just saying maybe, since these people have credible allegations, or at least somewhat credible allegations of sexual assault, maybe, in Kavanaugh's case, he shouldn't be a Supreme Court justice, one of the highest honors in the land. And in Joe Biden's case, maybe, just maybe, he shouldn't be President of the United States, seeing as has several allegations of sexual assault. I mean, let's not forget about Lucy Flores. It just happened last year. She accused Biden just last year of groping her. She did the media tour, did the rounds, all that. I mean, it's just, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. 8 allegations against Biden, 21 allegations against Trump. You ever notice Bernie doesn't get these allegations? Funny, all these people don't like Bernie, and everybody sends all these people around making fake allegations, yet Bernie never gets any allegations. Weird. I wonder why. Couldn't possibly be because they did it and he doesn't, but hey, I guess the mainstream media didn't cover it, so what are you gonna do? It must not be credible. Also, another thing that Milano said, the reason she's not taking it seriously is because Time's Up isn't taking the case. Well, according to them, since Joe Biden is running for president, they could lose their tax-exempt status for taking the case. And that's why they said they weren't going to, help her with lawyer fees and do a PR campaign. That's what they said. So if you ask me, she's just being a complete and total hack. This is completely partisan. Here, look at this tweet that she sent out during the Kavanaugh hearing. And I quote, "You can't pretend to be the party of the American people and then not support a woman who comes forward with her #MeToo story." Yep. So yeah, that was her during the Kavanaugh hearings. Now it's, well, it's touchy. I really know the guy well, and he seems like a great guy. I mean, we don't want to be ruining lives around here. But Kavanaugh was, oh, you can't be the party of the people if you don't believe women. I mean, it's just hypocrisy, and it totally ruins the credibility of the movement. And it's such horseshit that she would do something like this. Another thing is, a lot of people don't remember this, but she backed out of an Andrew Yang fundraiser because a staff member was accused of sexual assault, and he, quote, didn't handle it well enough, according to her. Then to top it all off, Crystal Ball, the host of Hill TV's Rising, posted about the response that she gave on Andy's show, saying that it was obvious hypocrisy. And then Alyssa posts, "Bernie supported her, right?" And then Crystal, being the star that she is, said, "It shouldn't matter what candidate you support. That's literally the exact problem. Your obvious hypocrisy is destroying the movement you claim to care about." I mean, what an establishment hack. Bernie supporter, right? Anna Kasparian chimed in as well. Bernie supporter and woman of principle, yes. For some of us, sexual assault allegations should be taken seriously, even when it's not politically convenient. Get 'em. I mean, honestly, Miss Milano should have known she can't mess with Anna Kasparian or Crystal Ball. I mean, you just don't outfox the two progressive queens. It just doesn't happen. Now, check out this tweet. This is my favorite. This is from Rose McGowan, a former co-star of Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano retweeted another explanation for her silence, and Rose McGowan, her former co-star, retweeted it saying, "You are a fraud. This is about holding the media accountable. You go after Trump and Kavanaugh saying believe victims. You are a lie. You have always been a lie. The corrupt DNC is in on the smear job of Tara Reid. So are you. Shame." Damn, she went hard on her. But look, no matter if you're for Biden or for Bernie, you have to admit that Alyssa Milano has done more to hurt the credibility of the Me Too movement in the last 2 days than the right wing has done in the last 2 years. And this is what happens. If you want to be part of a movement, you have to be willing to call out your own people. Because when you're not, this is what happens. And this right here is why people don't trust the media or establishment Democrat or Republican surrogates, because they always use stuff like this simply for political gain. And when you point the finger at the other party, you got to be willing to point the finger back at your own people. I mean, otherwise, you're just a partisan hack. Period. Now, for the record, this doesn't mean we shouldn't believe women. We should definitely believe women. But like we always should, we should take it on a case-by-case basis and check the facts and look at the evidence. Not just simply scream guilty because they have an R or a D next to their name. Anyway, that's just my take on it. That's going to do it for me, guys. Remember, I post videos 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have an Instagram, @DrivenProgressive. Check me out over there. I post content every day, videos, memes, all kinds of stuff. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this whole situation. And that's going to do it for me. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace.